Yo,
Yeah.
what's going on, guys? This is
Oh,
this nigga already in the Matrix, bro. What's going on, guys? We're here to fucking bring you guys the third official match of season 2 of the One Piece draft. The first 2 matches are out of the way. You already know the victors of that. Great fights, great fights. We're down to the game of the week. Today we have the Fax Navy versus the Black Niggas. Unfortunately, we do have 2 contestants who aren't able to make it, whether it's because of fear, insufficient skill, anything else that happened. We don't know what it is, so the niggas are inferior for it until they let us know. But these 4 niggas have come through. On the Fax Navy side, we have the team captain Chatty with another rookie Spidey. Chatty was a judge last year, so he doesn't have an upper hand in this circumstance. But their team is also very tough. Their players consist of Kuma as their first pick, Laffeyete as their second pick, Fujitora as their third pick, Boa Hancock as their fourth pick, and Chopper as their fifth. The Black Niggas, whose team is led by Stebo and has Cola and Yo Sensei. This is a veteran team from last year's draft. They actually produced the most points out of all the teams last year with only 2 players. So in the previous draft, with that accolade, let's see if they can push that out for this one as well.
I hope so.
All right, let's get it popping now. Yeah. So to start us off, if the 2 captains will go into for the people and do the dice rolls.
Did I do it right?
Yep.
no.
Oh, okay.
Did he?
Well, I got a 1.
Out of 1.
Wait, so I did it wrong.
No, you did it right. No, you did it out of 1.
Hard. I do 1.
You stupid.
What? How are you gonna call him stupid when you can't tell him he did it right?
All right, look. That is what
Okay, all right. I see now.
I got a 1.
How you gonna call him
Damn,
stupid?
That's
How you
not
gonna call him stupid? Y'all both wrong. Y'all both.
Okay. So Stebo will be leading the way. Stebo, would you like to go first or second?
Do what?
Would you like to go first or second?
Let's go second.
All right. Chatty, the first question that you guys will be discussing is, which character is the most hype?
Oh.
Do I choose this character? Or?
Yep. You have 1 minute to choose which character you'll use.
Fujitora.
All right.
Fuji.
All right. Okay, so Fujitora for the first one. And Stebo, who's your choice?
What was it?
Say it with your chest.
I said we pick Rayleigh.
Rayleigh.
Rayleigh versus Fuji.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Both teams, you're both gonna have 2 minutes to, or excuse me, 3 minutes to give your introductions as to why your characters are the most hype.
I will notify you guys when your time limit is up.
Yeah.
All right.
Chatty, whenever you're ready, begin.
And it's Fujitora. He's the admiral. He's an admiral. One of the new admirals too. What he has, he's got a gravity power fruit, whatever you want to call it. Definitely one of the most hype powers there is. No, there's very few that come near it. Basically, very, very large number of things with that power. Very little of it. It's the hype, but what we've seen, the hype immensely. Jack, apparently, didn't get to see it, but it's hype as fuck because he did it. It's in the sky like a fucking plane. When you go to the beginning of Dressrosa, there's a ship on the side of the fucking the dirt. Crashed. He flew there with the fucking boat. This guy is a swordsman. Your style you could have in this verse of people that like anime. You guys love these swordsmen, and that's what he is. He's on top of that, a Japanese, and he's blind.
Yeah, we all know that the admirals don't need any introduction. We know what the admirals can do. Then they all have years and years of military experience behind them. But Fujitora, this nigga was brought in off the streets during the Great Military Draft, and was already a monster. Like, didn't need years of fighting against like pirates. He was strong on his own. No military training to speak of. And like we all watch anime here. We all watch anime here. Everyone knows that in any anime, the blind nigga is always gonna wreck shit, and always does wreck shit. Every time.
This guy Luffy went up to him and fucking tried to play him for a fool. Like a blind old idiot. Trying to call out his attacks and shit. Did you see how fucking pissed this guy got? This dude went, blow, threw his fucking sword out. Some bullshit came out and blew up the wall of the entire fucking island. It exploded, and it was reversing polarities or some shit. The color changed. Everything was ridiculously changed. We don't know what the hell it was, but it was something crazy. Something crazier like that on some other scale. On top of that, his backstory is some depressing, super sad situation that nobody knows yet, which is super hype. He blinded himself, mind you. I forgot to add that part. He blinded himself because he was so depressed. Yeah. And now he's an admiral for the government who just got done fighting somebody from the revolutionaries for them to protect them. Crazy, huh? And he's brand new. And on top of that, this guy fought Sabo, brand new off the fucking show. Everyone thought he was dead.
Time.
Sabo comes on.
Time.
This guy.
Chatty, time.
Good job. All right. The black niggas.
Y'all really need to change. Y'all really need to change that name.
I don't know what you mean.
Y'all really ain't trying to help Grimm get monetized. Y'all really ain't trying to help Grimm get monetized.
All right. Go
Alright,
ahead.
dude,
Sir,
do what
we
y'all
are
want to do. Hey, whatever y'all want. Whatever y'all want to be ready.
All right.
Get it poppin'.
All right. Well, our guy is Dark King Silver's Rayleigh, the right hand to the Pirate King Gold D. Roger. Now, that introduction alone is probably, not only was it so low key, but it's possibly one of the hypest that we've ever seen in the series. The way it was handled, the way it was executed, because he came off as just a normal slave who might have looked kind of cool, old guy with raggedy clothes on, and then bam, all of a sudden, right hand to the Pirate King. And then to top it all off in that same arc, this man went toe to toe with the guy who's on the same level as your guy. Now, you want to talk about admirals being all hype and whatnot. Well, this man in his old age was able to stifle an admiral who's arguably even stronger than the one that you guys are trying to hype. Well, another thing that bolsters the hype for Silver's Rayleigh is the fact that he trained our guy, our captain, Monkey D, over 2 years. And he took him from being a relative scrub to being able to go toe-to-toe with guys like Katakuri, Doflamingo, and the like, and made it so not only could he get closer and closer to reaching his dream, the ultimate peak that his own captain had at one time, being the Pirate King, but also being able to thrive in the New World. And now he's propelled himself to 1.5 billion berries, all due to the effort and time that was put in by our guy, Silver's Rayleigh. So if that doesn't show what sort of insurmountable hype that this man has been given by the author, then I don't know what does. And another thing to add on to a factor of hype that this man has is the obvious parallels between him and the right hand of our pirate crew, Straw Hats, Rono Zoro. Seeing what sort of dream that he has, it's pretty obvious to see that Rayleigh, being a swordsman as well, was very close to the pinnacle, if not the greatest in his time.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Time.
All right, let's go.
All right. We'll prepare for the debate portion. Let's now enter the debate portion. I believe it's Chatty to go first.
First one I heard was fucking goddamn Steve-O.
My bad.
Just go
No,
off
fuck
what-
that.
Okay, Chuck.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, begin.
Attack
Teddy.
me!
Right, fuck
Am I
it.
being
I'm just
punked?
gonna step off. Fuck it.
Chatty.
These black niggas.
All right, Teddy. Begin the argument as to why most your character is most hype.
Why your character is
First of all, how
more
the fuck is a guy from the past hype? We already know what he's done.
Oh, okay. Well, if being from the past makes someone not hype, then I mean I think that invalidates the entire notion of hype, because it really doesn't matter where you come from. It's about what exactly you can do to garner the interest of the audience. In that case, I mean, Rayleigh has multiple things going for him. Like as I said,
Blew up an elephant, that's about it.
Hold on. You cannot interrupt during this portion. They have 15 to 30 seconds to speak, and it's uninterrupted for either side.
As I was saying,
yeah.
being the former right-hand pirate king, being a top-tier swordsman, being able to clash equally with the Marine Admiral, who's arguably stronger than the Marine Admiral that you guys are boasting.
Training being right hand to the former fire king is relevant to the story in the future. Y'all, so you can't say in past not affecting the future when we clearly see with the pirate king himself, because of everything they did everything they could to kill him, and he was the right hand man to that man. They got killed by the world government. So you.
Alright, it's time. It's time for the other team.
Y'all say that he was fighting an admiral, arguably stronger than Fujitora, but was he gonna win? No, the nigga was breathing heavy. He's an old ass man. Had it started raining, his knees probably would have started to hurt. Like, he had no chance of being this.
Like, you understand that this guy.
Hold on. Oh, you can't add after your teammate adds. You have to wait till next turn. It's the black nigga's turn.
Yeah.
All right, black niggas, let's go. All right. Well, whether or not he was going to lose is speculative, and even if we did know the outcome, that doesn't change the fact that he was able to go toe to toe with him in his old age. What makes Rayleigh hype is what we know about him to be true from his prime, and not only that, but the fact that he's able to do such amazing things in his old age. So that really doesn't diminish anything from the hype factor of it.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell you think is so hype about anything he's done other than blow up an elephant. That's the only thing he's done. I don't know why. For you. That's the only thing he has. Everything else that he's done is nothing. That's the only thing I'm hype about, learning more of that he's shown. Everything else he's done was just drink. Food kids for 5 minutes. Controlling an island, fighting revolutionaries. This guy's got his fucking foot in everything. What kind of hype is? What are you talking about?
All right, switch.
You want to take that one, Cole?
Yeah, Chatty. I don't know you when the argument is who's the more hype character. I mean, I think that our character.
You're in the Matrix, bro.
All right, I'll go ahead and yeah. But as far as what you were saying about the only hype thing he's ever done was blowing up an elephant, I mean, that was very hype, especially since it was very shocking and sudden. But to say that's the only hype thing he's ever done, I think that's just completely untrue. Being able to go toe to toe with the Marine Admiral is no small feat. I mean, it's literally the pinnacle of the verse. So I don't see how that you would try to diminish that
Switch
as something to be hype about.
Well, guess what?
respect
My
your statement.
character is that pinnacle. Oh.
I'm sorry?
My character is that pinnacle you're speaking so highly of. Pretty
Right.
sweet, huh?
And our guy was able to go toe to toe with someone of that same caliber.
The double hype. No. And he's blind.
And I heard you mention drinking earlier. Well, our guy is an old man parlaying in his retirement age, going out with young, lovely females, fondling them in his spare time, doing the thing to him, giving that pink tip.
Fujitora's past is
something like-
way too deep and intricate to have any kind of.
I didn't catch that.
His past is way too deep and intricate. Anywhere near where they can handle something like that, have fun. No. Himself, come on now.
Well, I
You
mean,
blind yourself?
Fujitora is a cool guy, but I don't think he would be out there gallivanting
I
like
know
our
he's
guy
blind
Rayleigh.
as fuck.
I don't think there's anything more hype than an old man who's very powerful, being able to cut swaths through the land with the strike of his sword, and also
I feel
being
like
out
you're
with lovely young
Yo,
ladies.
you can't interrupt, Teddy. Finish.
Did you hear that last part? The lovely young ladies, because I feel like that's extremely hype.
He's a horn dog.
All right, switch.
Who
Teddy.
It's still a little bit of lag.
You said switch, Grimm?
Yeah.
Right.
I respect your statement about not dismissing past the achievements, but Rayleigh's time in the story is done. Fujitora, as we know, is the only major Marine figure fighting against the world government. He wants to abolish the Shichibukai system. So not only was he hype in the past, but we are guaranteed that he's going to be a central hype figure in the future.
Well, if you're talking about
What
future
you're
hype,
saying is,
go ahead, Cole, or at least try.
Steve, you got it. You got it, Steve. You got it.
Okay. Well, if we're talking about future hype, what Rayleigh has been able to do and what he's been able to instill into Luffy will certainly carry over into the rest of the story, because that's literally the main character. And if that doesn't factor into how hype he is as a character, being able to facilitate the hype for our main character, the man that we see the story
Switch.
through his eyes, then I don't
See,
know.
now you're attributing things Luffy has done to what Rayleigh, but you can't do that. Rayleigh taught him the bare basics of hockey, then he left for 6 months. He didn't teach him Gear 4. He told him about Future Sight, but he didn't teach him Future Sight. Luffy's fight with Katakuri was resulted in that. Rayleigh is connected to hype things, but he himself is not hype for what Luffy does.
Well, I feel like that's just a false statement, because you can't just take away what he's been able to instill into Luffy and try to say that doesn't help the hype for this character, because without him, Luffy wouldn't even be able to get to that level to even access those things that you're referencing. And that's not even the main thing that Luffy has been able to acquire. I mean, without even learning the basics that you're trying to diminish, would he be able to gain those advanced techniques, which is only one or so?
Well, we don't know if he could teach him, or if he could, if this, if that. I don't know. He's just he's a remnant of the stuff that we know about already. He's not anything that's new that we haven't seen. Appreciate it. It's all brand new. Everything he's done is brand new. Everything he's doing is brand new. He has a whole new attitude towards the government. Side has that attitude. It's brand new, hyped as fuck. He's doing all of it he can to fucking stop. Just like somebody said, the Chichibukai system, which is what is Rayleigh was drinking.
You say switch?
Yeah.
Well, as far as the Shichibukai system, I mean, we really don't even know how well that's going for. I guess we can speculate that it's going to happen due to, typical parlances of storytelling. But as far as we can tell, the Shichibukai system is very necessary for the world government. And the opinion of one man is more than likely not going to change that. The way that the world government has been set up and the way that it's been portrayed for us throughout the story is that the Shichibukai system is more than essential for their militaristic power and to keep control throughout the entire pirate world and with the civilians, because instilling fear into everyone is what's going to keep them in power and keep everyone in check. And that's what the Shichibukai are for, essentially.
Switch.
So Fujitora's goal of abolishing that system is...
Switch.
But it's not just the opinion of one man. You forget Fujitora's actions. He gambled on Luffy so that to make a fool of the government, to make the Shichibukai system seem ineffective. So it's his, even if it is just his one opinion, it's going to be a much better argument because of what he did at Dressrosa, or what he allowed at Dressrosa to be more specific. And you say, yes, the Shichibukai are a big military power for the world government, but they care more about saving face at the end of the day. And if the general public doesn't hold faith in the government because of their mishandling of the Shichibukai system, it's getting abolished. And Fujitora will facilitate that. Guaranteed.
Switch.
Well, the Doflamingo was a very integral part of the Shichibukai system. But if you look at the other warlords, I think it's pretty safe to say that the rest of them have either been neutral or pretty much benefiting the citizens at large. So I don't think Doflamingo alone and what he was exposed to be doing is going to be enough to make the citizens at large lose faith in that was the case.
It's interesting to me that you're spending all your time talking about something that my character has to do and take care of, which is his hype situation, and you're not saying anything hype about Rayleigh. Rayleigh has nothing to do with anything you're talking about. But anyway, Fuji is obviously very important in hype. I know his whole entire thing with the Shishigami is very hype. I like how you want to talk about it. And two, remember when he beat the shit out of Jack, and when Jack went to try to get Dofi, he fucked that fool up. That fool's advantages. That fool was sitting there taking on Cat and the dog for fucking get a bandage. Fujitora fucked him up 1 fucking minute.
Switch.
You seem to be forgetting the fact that Suru and Garp were also involved in that. So I mean, if you're gonna come out of nowhere and just say Fujitora was the only one that messed that man, I'm gonna get you like, were those two people that are supposed to be legends of the past also chopped liver? No, I think not. So Rayleigh's over here fighting toe to toe by himself, even in his old age, with an admiral by himself. So you can't hype. So you gonna hype that man up who had.
First of all, don't even start that bullshit. Suru needed a rifle just to fucking fight in the past. That bitch can only wash you, and that's it. He has to touch you to do it. Son Goku turns into a giant gold fucking Buddha statue. When he was on the scaffolding, it broke. When he turned to that statue, if he did it on a boat, it would sink. Can't do it. He can't fight the same way he normally does. It was all Fujitora. You fucking fucked up.
How are you gonna say it's all Fujitora?
He's not done.
My bad.
Finish, Teddy.
Yeah, interrupt me in this one. And that's what you
do. I really want to shit on you, bitch. I want to shit on you.
All right, Carla, your turn.
Yeah, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. That nigga fought with two legends of the past who we know were fighting toe-to-toe against the Pirate King, and you're gonna come out of nowhere and just say, oh, these niggas needed walkers and shit. Fuck that, bro. They were strong as shit. We all know they're strong as shit. So don't try to demean two niggas like that. And coming from Pirate King himself, who's over here making Kizaru's fucking sweat.
Everything I said was fact. That bitch fought with a rifle in the past. She can wash you by touching you. That's why she wears gloves. That's all she can do. She's not a physical fighter of any kind. Son Goku has to turn into that fucking Buddha to be able to fucking do his shockwaves and any kind of anything like that, and he would sink the boat. It's a fact. You said nothing but fucking hyperbole. That's bullshit. I ain't gonna work here, pal.
Ooh.
I won that fucking one.
Just because you believe something might have happened doesn't mean it.
9 seconds.
He can go ahead.
Okay, but
can I go now?
Yeah, my bad.
Hold on. I want to say.
Go ahead.
Well, so I feel like I know exactly what you're referencing, Chatty, with the rifle. That was actually Suru when she was a rookie. As we can see, when Suru was actually in her prime, she was without a rifle. She was actually just going out there with hands alone. So of course she was giving niggas the hand. And if you recall, back in the Volume 0 flashback, she was going on the ship to go fight Gold Roger, and then Garp interjected and jumped on the ship with her. So if anything, that's the ultimate hype, because they sent Suru out to fight Gold Roger.
This is the difference between you and me. I didn't put any headcanon in that situation. You did.
Oh my.
You don't know what that bitch learned. That bitch used a rifle. We know it. It's a fact. We don't know what else she can do other than touch you. I know she can wash you. That's a fact. But I don't know anything else she can do. Other than that, that's it. That's all we know. We've never seen her do a goddamn thing. So that's just nonsense you're saying. Other than that, what else are you going to tell me that Son Goku can fight all magically super powerful without turning into the fucking Golden Buddha? That's fucking 16,000 pounds and breaks scaffolding?
Switch?
Well, I believe that's just
Go ahead. Well, you okay, Chatty? You may think that that's not honestly what it's not the only possibility. You can say that, but that doesn't mean that Sengoku himself cannot fight before going into that form. Does he absolutely need that form in every single fight? Probably not, because he's in the world government. They fight with other means besides their devil fruit. And when it comes to Rayleigh, we got Rayleigh who's over here trained Luffy, the Pirate King. So he's every single time he pops up in the story when Luffy's in a fight, his pop-ups are always incredible. We go like, Luffy's about to do some crazy shit because it's a Rayleigh flashback.
Stop. It's time for the free-for-all portion.
Flashback.
We all get to go after each other.
Yeah, see how we spent all this time arguing about my character's hype shit? Nothing about Rayleigh other than Luffy's in the training.
It's funny. We weren't even arguing your character's hype shit. We were arguing his teammates' hype shit. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It doesn't matter though. It pertained to Fujitora, but Rayleigh hasn't done anything.
Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Keep it simple.
Hockey. That's the only hype shit. And you guys didn't even bring it up.
I don't think this is exactly.
Second of
I
all,
don't think
being the right hand of the
very.
Pirate King doesn't tell us much because what do we know about the Pirate King?
Chatty, what are you gonna tell me?
I don't think it's very cash money if you
hold
say
on.
that we was only arguing food.
Hold on.
Chatty.
If the conversation isn't legible, we'll stop you guys 2 more times, and we'll end the round automatically. So please, if you're gonna interrupt each other, do it appropriately. Please continue.
All right. Yeah, I don't think it's very cash money of you to try to say we was only arguing Fuji, as if we was bolstering your man. We was taking him down, but at the same time we was bolstering our own man Rayleigh by the things that he was hyped to do in the past and the things that'll bolster his hype for the future. So I think that's pretty false what you're doing right there.
And also,
very real nigga.
And also onto that, Rayleigh's over here. He's considered one of the highest bounties in the world because these niggas want him dead. They still want him dead because he's part of the Pirate King's crew. Anything that is involving the Pirate King needs to die in the eyes of the world government, Chatty. So that's a fact. But that's a fact. So now most people that involved themselves with Roger didn't die.
You fucked up by using the word bounty. You fucked up by using the word.
I misspoke and I apologize.
Well, that's fine.
So finish what I said.
I don't play that game. I can't hear, pal. I'll tell you what the fact.
Finish the rest of what I said.
There's not much to say about Rayleigh what we know already. He was the Pirate King's right-hand man. Great. What did he do during that time? I don't fucking know. The guy could fucking... I'll tell you another thing for him. He always sinks... His ships always sink. You guys didn't mention that either.
The Oral Jackson thing? I don't remember the Oral Jackson sinking, bro. What?
The only reason the Dinky sink is because he's too strong.
Across the goddamn entire ocean to Luffy's island because his ship sank. You guys didn't even bring it up.
It's unbelievable.
You just hyped up Rayleigh yourself, bro. I mean, he swam for miles.
I've done it for you the whole match because I feel bad for the character. I want him to have something to go for.
Like
my character's got way too much hype going on.
Too much hype.
We've been arguing about him the whole time.
It's funny, you guys talking about the hype involving your character. I don't even know what the hype that you've been saying. Because most of the time,
you've been in the Matrix.
I mean, you can say I was in the Matrix. I knew what the fuck he did, bitch. So I don't need to argue what the fuck y'all saying. Fuck that nigga. He ain't shit. That's a fact.
That was a fact.
That's how hyped this guy is. We don't even know.
Yeah. You try
to say that unknown factor.
Hey, I actually heard what y'all were saying whenever we were talking about it.
You don't gotta say nothing to me, Cola.
But it's but it's okay. You can tell me what tell me about Rayleigh though. Rayleigh over here training the future Pirate King and part of the Pirate King's crew. And everybody that's involved with the Pirate King.
How much do you think all that rubble weight that he lifted up at the end of the arc? How much do you think it all weighed?
I don't even know what the fuck
if you tied to 2 Pirate Kings, what does that tell you about your hype status, bro? You tied to 2 Pirate Kings. Not only did you help one reach the pinnacle,
while he fought Luffy,
but you training the man to reach that pinnacle.
That weighed.
What does that tell you about a man's hype status, bro?
How much do you think all that rubble weighed that he held up in the air while he fought Luffy?
I agree.
Does that matter at all in this conversation?
I agree, Steve, that he's done hype things in the past, but like Hero Look, he was hype in the past, but he's not relevant to the story anymore.
So let me ask you
a quack. Don't you dare. What do you mean?
No, he's like Rayleigh. He's an old man past his prime. That's what he was.
So then,
I'll keep when he was an admiral. They listened like a goddamn little boy. Every time Aokiji opened his mouth or Son Goku told him what to do, they fucking listened. Even if they grist a little bit. Fucking Fuji said, "Fuck you, you fucking bitch. I'll do what the fuck I want." When he told him what to do, and he did what he wanted. He didn't have to do.
All right, guys. All right, guys. That's the end of the round. Talk about lighting the fire, bro.
Hey, I came back strong, nigga. I left back, came back with my internet. Fuck it.
We was waiting for that. We was waiting for that. All right. So on the conclusion portion, we're still discussing which character is the most hype. So Chatty's team, we're gonna go to 4 people first and roll the dice to see who goes first. But you'll be reiterating who's the most hype character. Yep, one more time. Conclusion portion.
It'll be your closing statements.
We get to talk shit about what they said, reiterate what you said.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Facts.
We just need you guys to go to 4 people and roll 1d10. One more time. It won't be one more time. You're gonna do it 4 more times.
Yeah, I got 9 again. Let's go, baby.
Damn, look
job,
at this
Steve-O.
cheating ass
Steve-O
thing.
trying to choose.
Cheating.
It's
What you paid
odd
in
because
dice?
last
What you
year
Never
paid in
reveal
dice?
my secret.
it's
paid in
odd
dice?
because last year Steve-O won almost every single competition to start in the beginning. Every single one. I will never forget that. That was the reason why we always had such a close bro.
Oh, hold on.
Teddy said
Y'all
tighten
gotta
up.
roll again.
Roll
Y'all gotta
again.
roll again. Teddy
Hey,
said, hold up.
Come
Teddy
on.
said,
hey.
hold up. He demands a recall.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Let's do this right. Oh, man.
Uh-oh. The nines
Ooh-wee.
ain't faded.
Ooh.
What?
The
Who
ties
got it what?
continue.
Ooh.
That's fucking bullshit.
This better not be a
Don't do it to me
What
again.
you gonna do, Chetty? What you gonna do, Chetty?
Steve-O bringing it back.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve-O wins again. Undefeated in the...
All right, Steve-O, what's gonna happen?
You wanna go
I,
first or second?
I think we'll go ahead and lead this one. I think we'll lead this.
Hey, you
All right.
better.
So you'll have 3 minutes from whenever you start.
All right. Well, first off, I'd just like to say that you guys was carrying on with a lot of falsehoods throughout that portion there, trying to say that we did nothing to hype up our character. When I hope the judges actually paid attention and actually noticed that we did a crucial amount of hyping on our character, giving them hype from the past and the present, and what's sure to come in the future. And we also diminished the main goal of your character, which I feel like you failed to refute.
And also adding to our character, once again, we will hype it up. He trained the future Pirate King, and it was a part of the previous Pirate King's crew. He's the right-hand man of the former Pirate King, Dark King Rayleigh. Government all said this man is going to be is a threat that we know we need to take out. They don't even try to find him. They know better. They know better. Go ahead, Steve.
And then let's not forget this man's pimp status. I don't think it can be overstated. This man is not only married to one of the baddest old broads in the series, but she let him go out and do as he pleased with these young broads. And he be out there. Ain't no telling how many little babies he got around conquering pockets, coming out the womb.
Slaying hoes left and right. You know what I'm
Left
saying?
and right.
Yeah.
Time.
First
Play
off,
it.
Oh, okay.
What? No, it's not time. Keep going.
Oh, it's not time? All right.
Nah,
Well,
I'm at
look at here. Doing it just like 8 Ball and MJG. You know what they say.
big
Drown
facts.
in the tub, rubber dub dub.
And
What they do in the One Piece verse is 90% water. Where you think he taking these broads at, man? He ain't got no devil fruit.
And also adding to that, I mean, the fact that he fought toe-to-toe with the current admiral who has been shown to not be scared to even go against Yonkos, stated by himself saying, you want me to go? One of the most hype scenes we've seen to date of Kizaru. And we know that man went toe-to-toe with the man that said that. So you can't tell us nothing about an elephant when we know there's a character that can go toe-to-toe with Kizaru like that. First off, I don't know what you all mean by, oh, he was huffing and puffing. He clearly was not even huffing and puffing when that shit was over. So I don't know what you guys get this headcanon from that you guys make up stuff. Go ahead, Steve.
Not only that, but you talking about Kizaru, the man who's sitting down in the chair with his legs crossed, clipping his fingernails, talking about the son of the world's strongest man, like it ain't nothing. Come on, that clipping his fingernails like a pimp. This is pimp on pimp status. You niggas talking about a blind man who can't even see where he's going. Come on now.
Big facts. Also, his plan to revoke the Shishibukai system, I mean, it's already been this most likely that it's been talked about before because they always say how much trouble that they have with the Shishibukai. So it's not like he's just a central figure that came up with it. So I don't know what you guys are talking about with some statement like that.
Time's up.
He'll never see his dream.
Fucking cheater.
Blind.
All right. Chatty and Spidey. You'll have 3 minutes from whenever you start.
Okay, first of all, I'm not gonna let you guys downplay your own character like that. He blew up an elephant with hockey. Okay, that hockey is savage. So I'm tired. Second of all, my character, we don't know if it's a devil fruit yet. You know that, right? So, we don't know if he has a devil fruit or not. help you. But let's take this back. I mean, I can't believe make for your character in this argument. Stumbling and bumbling over talking about how he wants to go have sex with a bunch of sluts. Wow, oh my god, oh, so hype. Yeah, that makes him hype. Give me a fucking break. When you say that Fujitora, or if that Kizaru is the fucking pinnacle of everything, he's an admiral, all this, all that. Guess what? My character is an admiral as well, alongside that admiral. He's the same level, if not greater. Fucking power of 2, mind you, because his seems to be nerfed by the rider nonstop, so it's obviously bullshit compared to this one. This guy can fly too, so it doesn't matter about me swimming. He can fly over the goddamn ocean, across the goddamn globe. It doesn't matter where he wants to go. So there is nothing having to deal with that. He doesn't have to deal with swimming.
Yeah, like you
that
guys
you're talking about? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, you guys are really. Your main point was the fact that he was able to fight, and no one here believes that he could have beat that admiral, but someone who was the caliber of our character. And Fujitora, like Rayleigh himself, even admits that I am a relic of a bygone era. Like, so yes, once in his heyday, he was hype. Hell, even some of the shit he did now was hype, but that's done now. It's over. But Fujitora has a future, a very hype future moving forward. He will be a major player in the story for years to come. Because of this, he will.
I just can't take any more of this. You can't. I'm not gonna let you guys downplay your character too much. It's like, what are you doing? This guy is you know that they said he's a legend, right? And that they can't fight 2 legends at one time. Why didn't you bring it up? We're in an argument. Like, come on. Hello? Think. Who are you?
If Fujitora just has more staying power. He just way more staying power. Rayleigh had a nice part in the story, but outside of a flashback, Rayleigh's not really going to contribute much. He's just going to keep getting older and older and older. We might see him in a diaper by the end of the story, and then that'll be it. Like, Rayleigh, he's an old man. But Fujitora, again, a man who can, like, see and, like, without his eyes that you guys needed to point out that he can't use, his hockey's on a level that he can see without them. He doesn't need eyes.
It's hockey eyes.
Yeah, but I guess when...
All right, guys, time's up.
Go ahead.
All right. Very good job on the first question.
I couldn't breathe listening to that shit.
All right.
It blew up the cannonball.
With a proper turn up. That's how you do the One Piece draft in the second portion. Once we got used to it, started rolling. So please give us about a minute to give our votes for this first round.
Y'all niggas trash.
I'm glad you made it back, Cola.
This nigga Spidey J trying to talk shit, and all I heard was shit. This nigga was speaking shit.
You guys did great.
Nigga Steve-O, this nigga Jazz Spidey is trash.
Nah, man, Spidey did good.
Hey, nah, bro. Not in what he was doing. I'm saying in some of the shit he was saying, like, it was absolute trash.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For me.
And then Chatty over here, like, I don't know why y'all like you're over here. Like, wait, what? Oh shit.
Skateboarding or something.
Chatty's making me laugh. Chatty made me laugh a lot.
All right, guys.
It's gonna be a
okay. Milo, if you lead the way.
All right. That was pretty good. Oh, I like the puns, and this was a funny debate. Cola and Steve-O, I don't know if you guys meant it, but when you said Fujitora won't even see his dreams, I was dying.
Of course I meant it. Of course I meant it. The nigga ain't gonna see it.
Steve-O, bruh. Steve-O coming in clutch, nigga.
Making fun of handicapping.
I have to say, like,
Stream?
It was so unique to hear a team berate a team for their debate style the way Chatty was kind of disarming your debate by being better at your debate than you were. He's like, I'm not gonna let you do this to your guy. This was great. That was good, but everything you guys said about Rayleigh, they had a counter, and their biggest point, you kept harping on Kizaru, and for me, they were saying that Fujitora is at Kizaru's level, so I had to give it to Team Fujitora because they took one of your biggest arguments and used it to bolster theirs.
All right. um,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like Milo said, this is a fun debate. I like how both teams brought up the point that these are both very, very high level fighters. Steve Bowen and Cola mentioned that that Rayleigh was not only the teacher of the future Pirate King, but was on the crew of the first Pirate King. Now, I don't think that was enough, and I gave my vote to the Fujitora team. These guys mentioned like from Fujitora fucking like telling fucking Akainu or whatever to fuck off to how him literally asking verbatim. I wonder how much that rubble weighed that he was holding up while fighting Luffy. He also Taddy also mentioned against this is a point against Rayleigh, I believe. That's how hype he is. We don't even know, and
because that works. Because that works.
So that point really hit me. As hype as he is, we don't know that much, and the feats that they mentioned about Fuji were sufficient to overlap that. So I gave my vote to him.
I'm sure.
Yeah, if we're gonna talk about the comedic things, I mean, of course, the shit that Steve-O said was hilarious. I liked how Chatty kept asking y'all how much the rubble weighed. That shit had me dying.
I hate to hear that.
But I liked how Steve-O and Cola brought up the whole being the right hand and then teaching, and the fundamentals and more the core teachings that is gonna be helping Luffy throughout the rest of the story. I also liked how the other team brought up how Fuji is more integral to the story, and his hype is only going to grow because of that. With all that being said, I think what led me to pick my choice is a certain thing when Steve-O was going on about the pinnacle of Rayleigh's hype in the manga of fighting an admiral, because the admiral's the pinnacle of strength, and Chatty immediately brought up that pinnacle you're talking about is Fuji. That kind of sealed it away for me, and I got to go with Fuji's team.
All right. With the first round completed, we finished the question, who's the most hyped character? We're going to enter the dice rolls with the captains, and we're going to see who will lead off the second question, which is the most creative use of powers. The captains will be meant for the people. All right. So, once again, Steve-O's monopolizing the role. What's your choice, sir?
Goddamn, Steve-O.
This most creative use of power, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, we got it. Oh, yeah, yo. You right. I almost forgot we had this.
Are you going first, or are they going first?
Yeah, I think we'll go first.
All right.
And we choose Perosperro.
All right. Okay. Chatty, you have a minute.
We'll pick Chopper.
Ooh.
This is about to be a match. All right.
Oh, wow.
Steve-O, you guys have 2 minutes from whenever you start.
All right.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and lead it off. All right, so starting off with my boy Perosperro. Perori, first of all. So his entire persona is based around the usage of his devil fruit. And that serves to bolster his entire character because of the creative usage of his devil fruit. Having literal candy embroidered on his clothing. It's dealing with his own ship. It's well, I lost my train of thought. I almost got into an accident. Yeah, it's real.
No doubt, fam. No doubt here, bro.
No, we good. We good.
All right.
Well, and also creative usage of power with Perosperro. It seems like he has hints of awakening with the way that he's used his abilities, being able to not only turn people into candy, but it's certain scenes where it seems as if he's taking the ground and actually forming it into candy and shaping it into a candy wall. So we already know that once you have. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, using that specific powers, you can tell he's a very art-based character to begin with. With one of the first scenes we ever seen of him is when he makes the giant escalator that leads the people that showed up for the tea party up to the actual tea party itself, and everyone thought that was one of the most magnificent creations that they'd ever seen. And you can also tell by another example of when he used the Candy Maiden that he's very into art and most likely history because based on that attack guy itself, it's a very art-based creation to begin with. So you can tell by this man, he's a very creative individual based on all the things that he's done based on creating this devil fruit. Now, that is basically where we get our inspiration for our character being one of the most creative characters that we've seen so far. I mean, if you even see some of the stuff that he does. Okay, go ahead.
Teddy, you'll have 2 minutes from whenever you start.
Okay. Well, it's an animal, for God's sakes. This guy ate a fruit accident. Buddy. And like a zone is only supposed to be able to have one form other than the normal form they have. Other than the hybrid and the normal form they have. That's it. This guy came up with forms. Himself into. Based off of his devil fruit. Zone in the entire story. Nobody else can do this. This is the only guy that can do this. Creates medicine that saved every mink on the fucking island of Zoe by creating an antidote to this poison. Beyond creative. Spidey, you have anything to say?
Yeah, not only does affecting the wavelength of a devil fruit put him on the level of someone like Judge, who can manipulate lineage factor, but each of these forms have a specific power and or ability. For instance, his brain point literally allows him to see the weak point in his enemy, the weak point in any enemy, and his guard point, which is, was able to block an attack from a Yonko. Like not only these forms, like again, more than the average zone, but they're all specialized. And even like he got to the point where he doesn't even need to use a rumble ball to initiate these forms, except for the monster form. So it's literally become a part of his overall zone ability to access these forms with no outside help. And again, like Chaddy said, there were no other zones in the story who can do that other than potentially Awakening, if that's a different form. If we don't know that yet.
Yeah, it's not. Even if that's the whole point to this guy. He created his own forms that nobody else, and he's got dropped forms. He's had forms he created, he dropped already.
Exactly.
This guy is. On top of the fact that he's not created fucking medicine after medicine to cure everything. He's the one that cured the kids on the island of Punk Hazard as well.
Okay, guys, time's up. Next portion is 15-minute rebuttal portion. Do your thing. I believe Steve was leading away.
Rebuttal.
Yeah, same thing we did before.
Oh, same thing last time. We just go back and forth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steve, you go first.
Sure.
All right. Go ahead.
Spidey, my nigga, did you just say that he's on the same level as Judge in terms of like his creativity and intelligence? First off, I heard that and I was stunned because what? Where does that? How does that even correlate with Judge? Judge himself, I mean, all he does was create his children. And when you talk about creativity in science is more test based and not based on in terms of actually being creative with the information that you already have. However, we see Perosperro, he takes the candy that he has into forming it into different things. He has to be art. He has to be very art based and creative to be able to decide what exactly he's going to do with his power. And that's basically everything that goes on whenever it comes to his power in general. He has to create things using his mind and deciding, I want to create this next. I want to create this next. I want to use this to create something else. He has to use his creative ability to be able to put those stuff together. Now, understand when it comes to Chopper, he has those 4 other forms, but his science-based intelligence comes from knowledge he gained from other people rather than his own creative ability.
But since you addressed me, but is not science the power of idea, the power of thinking, the power of imagination? And yes, I put him on the same level of Judge because, again, literally manipulating the wavelength of a devil fruit, manipulating how a devil fruit acts on the body, how it affects the body, is very similar to Judge's research on lineage factor. Literally giving people's powers by manipulating their genetics. Chopper can do that, but to a devil fruit to give himself more forms, each specialized forms. So, and to say creativity isn't connected to scientific ability is ridiculous, in my opinion, in my earnest opinion.
Switch.
But Spidey, the ideas that come from when it comes to creativity from science, they usually come from previous knowledge that they've already gained from someone else. It's not an idea that you come up with in general. Well, however, Perosperro comes up with ideas that he creates on his own, usually to be able to facilitate something that he wants to do. It's obviously intelligence that he's already gained him that he uses from the knowledge of his life, create new ideas that have never been seen before. He does that shit on a daily basis as an artist. So I don't know where you're coming at is with the science portion when science is so heavily heavily used based on previous knowledge of what other people think. It's not immediately as creative as someone that is in the art lifestyle.
Okay, well, let me ask you something. What forms do you think of when you think of a reindeer? It's not Kung Fu Point and all this crazy bullshit that's all very creative. Activity that goes into coming up with those forms and those ideas, a goddamn concoction into a candy ball that you can eat, that changes your genetics in order to change into that exact form that you thought of. That amount of creativity is literally dumbfounding.
Switch.
This is an animal.
Now, Chatty, I understand that you say in terms of creativity. I did give you that those creating those forms was a form of creativity. However, in terms of other forms of creativity, the science-based portion is not enough in terms of comparing it to an artist who has to come up with completely new ideas from what he himself has deemed in his life. He's creating new things that nobody's ever seen before, and people when they first saw his creation of that giant escalator to go up to the tea party, they were stunned by his intricacy, his ability to make such a very artistic, detailed creation. They give him credit for that. That's incredibly that comes from creativity, and in terms of structural ability, that's impressive. His creativity is off the charts.
Switch.
Okay, here's the thing you got going on here. About you're saying he created the no, his fruit creates the candy. He makes out of the candy. And if you ask me, making a house, an escalator, isn't that creative? It's normal structural building that we see every fucking day. It's nothing creative at all. The fruit is doing that. It's not a thought out process to just put your hand out and make candy come out. The fruit allows that to happen. Just like Aokiji, just like a Kainu, they can do that.
Am I allowed to rebuttal now, Steve?
Doflamingo. Different than any of them. They can all do that. It's not something that they have to say a thought out creative process.
Switch.
Chopper did is a creative process.
That makes no sense, Chatty. Whenever it comes to using a lot of devil fruits, you can gain the idea of, oh, this is what my devil fruit does. I will use my own creativity to create something different than another person themselves might be able to do with it. That is the reason why your character is so different, but our character is also different between anybody else that would use that kind of ability. You cannot just say it's just because of his devil fruit, because he can't just use off the top whenever he gets the devil fruit, use the same abilities that he's been using after having it for years. That makes no sense.
See, the thing that's going on here is you're not going on this guy's the creativity of what he's making. That's what's creative in the person, not him just making candy out of his hand. That ours is our fruit and our character is that his interaction with the fruit is creative, but creative. His interaction with the fruit, my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. It's opinion based. You can't argue the fact that Chopper is 100% creative with everything that he's done with his fruit, because normally he's supposed to just have 3 forms: a hybrid, his animal, and a human form. That's it. Nothing else. And this is an animal, mind you.
Can I speak?
This is not a human.
Yeah, switch.
So Chatty, again, I'm not arguing the devil fruit itself. I'm arguing it takes the person that's using the devil fruit to create something different than what somebody else would do with that specific devil fruit themselves. That's why most people are we see that use the devil fruits are creative. That's why I'm saying he's very creative in the things that he's making with his devil fruit. I'm not talking about his devil fruit, Chatty. And also, I did say Chopper is creative with what he does with his devil fruit, but that is not the full extent
Switch.
of all his creative ability. It doesn't match up. So,
Switch.
I know.
Switch.
That's not what you're not getting what I'm saying exactly. But that's neither here nor there. Is bland. When you look at what he makes, it's bland. It's a slug, a wall, a house. Bland stuff that's normal building, architectural buildings we see everywhere in life. It's nothing creative at all. That's my point. He's not a very vivid imagination person. He came up with an Iron Maiden.
Switch.
So, Chatty, you're talking about things that aren't in the world of One Piece that he's making in the world of One Piece because he is a creative individual. He's thinking, "Oh, this isn't something that you see every day in One Piece, so I'm gonna use it." And they immediately when people first saw it, they were stunned by what it looked like. Structural buildings that we see today are came from the ideas of a creative individual that sculpted it, and then they brought it to life in reality. That is the same thing that what our character Perosperro is doing. He's a very creative individual and bring those things to life.
The thing about the matter is, it's not creative just using your fruit. That's not creative to me. I understand what you're saying. It's not what I'm saying. You're not getting my point though. But anyway, Chopper, with everything he does, every creation he's made is his own thought out process with its own special ability and own special application to the actual form. It's not just a form. It's not just this. He's not just seeing some string come out of his hand or something come out. It's literally forming his body into something different.
But Chatty, whenever it comes to Chopper, he always talks about the knowledge that he gains from other people and how he incorporates is what he uses to be able to further his life. It's not exactly that he's using the stuff that he's just making up. He's using knowledges that he's using stuff that other people have came up with and finding a way to mix it together. Whether it's creative in itself, however, it's not just something that he's just coming up with on his own. He's using other people's stuff. When it comes to Perosperro, these are things that aren't in the world.
He's using other things that he sees in the world that are thought and things that he sees in his life. That's someone being creative. You're explaining someone being creative. Exactly what Chopper is. I know. If he saw someone doing karate, he created a form for it. That's creative. He's doing things for his own life that have never been done before. Thin air. That's creative. Something that you can make after eating a fruit itself. The creative part comes from what he's actually making. And I don't see very much creation in any of it. Iron Maiden is something that somebody else came up with in their own creative mind.
Switch?
But Chatty, these things are not in the world of One Piece. That is the reason why I'm telling you, in this story, he is creative. It's not in One Piece to see Iron Maidens and you see giant escalators. We don't see that. That's the reason why I'm saying the things that he is creating are things that most people don't know of in the world of One Piece and are very
all right, guys. For the next 5 minutes, we will be in the free response portion. Please be cordial and make it legible. Please begin.
So, Chatty, again.
Or what?
What?
Just asking.
What was that?
No.
Yeah, I think
Steve-O
he's
just
asking
gone
who
or-
started, but yeah.
He
How
was
could you
on-
say that?
He was talking to his mom. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But how could you say that the Iron Maiden and that escalators like that don't exist in the One Piece world? Like, how could you say it's kind of
It's a
ridiculous for this
torture
that like there's no torture device like the Iron Maiden in the One Piece world? Where are you getting that from?
Exactly. That's my point.
I'm not. That's
Yeah.
not
Well,
what I'm
like, there's
talking
no
about.
buildings
When
and
it comes to
houses.
torture devices, there are torture devices in the world of One Piece, but he's creating them with his
Built the
devil
candy
fruit,
wall.
things that aren't in the world of One Piece. That's what I'm telling you. You don't see those things commonly in the world of One Piece, so you can't just say,
Often
oh
do you see
yeah.
a fucking talking change himself into 7 different forms, including a giant monster.
Yeah, like literally what Chopper's doing is like it would be impossible unless you did what Chopper did to like his devil fruit. Like you can't literally Chopper's one of the few people in the world who could even do that, if not the only person, because he's the only person in the series we've seen do it.
Then I'm gonna use Chatty's own words back at him.
I feel as if you can't really take away.
I don't find that impressive. They tell us that's the form that comes from his devil fruit. So you're gonna
You
tell
can't
me
really
that
take away what. Oh, go ahead, Cole. Go ahead.
My bad. Sibo, you got it.
Oh, okay. Well, you can't really take away what Perosperro's done with the devil fruit and try to diminish it and just say anybody with the devil fruit can do this, because what makes it creative is the fact that he's able to shape. Hold on. The fact that he's able to shape things with his devil fruit into something that we don't commonly see, into something that's extremely intricate.
What did Perosperro
That's
build?
what makes it creative. Because when we see when he made the escalator, not only was it intricate to our own eyes, but it was actually stated by the characters in the series that it was extremely beautiful and extremely detailed, and it spanned an entire 9 floors of a chateau that's basically the size of a mountain. So I think that's a little bit disingenuous of you to say that that's not an extreme example of creativity.
You guys are saying.
I told you how it's creative.
You guys are saying Perosperro is very artistic.
Tell me why that's not creative.
And
he's very artistic.
Spiraling or something.
And Spidey, if you're gonna say that are architects not creative, you can't say that. The things that architects do on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know his weren't very creative.
And that's
he's very artistic. He has a nice spectacle, but how does he? But how does he approach his situations? Like, how is he creative with his fruit? Like, Chopper literally made a form for a different situation each. Literally, the definition of being
creative. Was able to make an entire functioning arm after he lost his arm to an explosion. And not to mention, he survived the explosion because of candy armor.
I mean, is it really?
We can just act like this man isn't one of the most utilized. We can't just act like he doesn't have one of the most utilized devil fruits that we've seen in the series.
Is it utilized?
Yes. What this man is able to accomplish with his devil fruit is the extreme example of creativity that we've ever seen.
This does have nothing to do with his fucking fruit, other than the fact that it made him a little bit smarter.
Is it really
on his own an antidote to saving an entire island?
Is it really creative to say that he made a prosthetic arm out of his fruit? Like,
yes. If you're gonna say that, you can't
because
tell
we
me
don't see that.
I think everybody would have thought of that. I don't find that.
Exactly. That's not like Bart. Like, okay, my arm's missing. I can make candy. I'll make a candy arm. That's not really that creative.
That is extremely creative because you can make candy. How is it working?
10 people in a line,
it's working,
and we take off their arms. How many of those 10 do you think are going to make a candy arm?
Are you going to tell me
a perfectly functioning arm? He made a perfectly functioning arm, and it's as if he never lost it.
If we give all 10 of them candy fruit and we cut off their arm, we're going to make a candy arm.
You can't tell me that you just eat the fruit and you know exactly how to make a functioning arm. That doesn't even make sense.
He was literally just holding a dipper. He said it's going to melt when it gets hot.
He held a cup of tea like he was drinking it.
That doesn't take away from his creativity.
Goddamn guy holding his arm up like a chief.
His ability is
creativity because he took an entire explosion with candy armor. And if his weakness is heat, then he should have died.
Like that.
But he's creative enough to be able to make an armor that's strong enough to withstand the explosion.
So creative isn't the right word. Like, that's
I don't understand how you're trying to take away from his creativity.
Like, yes, his power is to control candy.
I think it's someone coming up with a lot more with that fruit than him. I think there could be someone coming up with a lot more with that fruit than him.
Exactly. Like,
it's incredible because they tell us how intricate the creations that he makes are, and you're gonna tell us you can see somebody making something more elaborate and creative than that. That's pretty hard to believe, Chatty.
Well, we
saw one candy animal. Why didn't he make more?
So are you gonna tell me creating animals is Is the most creative thing. Is the most creative thing he needs to do. That's the most creative thing he needs to do. He can make buildings. He can make incredible structures. He can make incredible structures. He can make new limbs. And you're gonna tell me that he needs to create moving animals to be creative?
Yes, because a flying animal in that situation would have been more practical. That would have been him being more creative, much more creative.
I don't think we brought up his most creative, his most practical feat yet, which is recreating the entire laboratory of Punkhead.
You fucked up and didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Your own characters.
Just did.
The cap is immediate for the people for the conclusions dice roll. Teddy has won the dice roll finally. What's your choice?
What do I do? What choice? What am I choosing?
Whether you want to say your conclusion first or second.
I guess we'll go second.
All right, Steve, you'll have 2 minutes from whenever you start.
Okay. Well, as I was saying with Perosperro, the most creative thing that we've seen him do is recreate the entire laboratory of Punk Hazard. And as we saw, that laboratory was scaled to a mountain when we saw the panel of law cutting the entire thing in half. So Perosperro recreated that entire thing. Not only does that show size, but the fact that he's able to literally make everything the exact same with candy, that means the electronic function, that means whatever fluids were running through it, everything from plumbing to electricity to anything having to do with architecture. He was able to put that in, I don't know exactly how much time between Punk Hazard and the whole cake, but the fact that he was able to do that in that amount of time, because I know it was less than a month, but that's ridiculous to be able to do that with candy. If that doesn't show exactly how creative a man is, then I don't know what does.
Also, adding even to that, you guys keep coming at us about he's not very creative in the structures that he creates, and yet some characters in the series tell you these are some of the most intricate things that they've seen before. That's also part of creativity and creating something that most people have never seen before and being very detailed with it. Again, that is the reason why I tell you architects are considered artists, some of the greatest artists in the world, by seeing structures that they create in the world that are incredible to the eye. That's why we say Perosperro is also incredible, because he does the exact same thing, builds things that in the One Piece world are not normal, but in reality to us is normal, something that we've seen before. Go ahead, Sibo.
And another thing that I feel has to be stated, you guys tried to take away from the Candy Maiden that he made, trying to say that torture devices must exist within the One Piece world. Sure, but we've never seen that. So just the same way in the first portion of this match that you tried to throw at us with headcanon, even though it's perfectly logical, we haven't seen it. So you can't really try to diminish that with something that we haven't seen. The Candy Maiden was not only intricate, but like I said, we've never seen it before. So that's definitely the definition of creativity.
All right, time. Chad, you'll have 2 minutes from whenever you start.
Okay, so the thing I keep hearing from you guys when you're talking. Skilled people in the world. Really skilled people. Creative. In any way, shape, or form, they're just really skilled. Look at. And guess what? Your little prop that you said it was best feat, gave him a blueprint for that. There's no skill. There was nothing but skill involved in that. No creativity. It was all blueprinted for him.
Yeah, like being creative isn't how well you do.
Go ahead, Spike.
Go ahead. No, being creative isn't about how good you do something. It's how you go about doing it. Like, Perosperro is very intricate in his designs, but you can't say that his creativity is on the level of someone like Chopper, who literally created multiple different forms, each with a specific use for his own.
Done before.
Yeah,
no one has done this. That's literally something he created it out of nothing. Nobody has seen this before. He didn't have a blueprint.
And when you say it's creative for an amputee to immediately want a prosthetic arm, and that him making a prosthetic arm when he can literally make anything out of candy is being creative, I think you were kind of reaching.
Only that has the ability to do that with their fruit does it.
Exactly.
Including Shanks for the Sox. Let's not go there. Still, I mean, you guys are explaining a skilled person. His creativity is not there. He's not that creative. Making an Iron Maiden? Are you serious? And you think there's no torture devices in a world where there's a prison filled with torture devices? Come on now. Silly.
Time's up. All right, guys. That was the conclusion for the, the second round. Give us a minute to make our choices. All right, guys. Charlie, if you'll lead the way.
I'm back.
This was a really good round. Both sides did really good to explain the creativity of both users. Cola did really good of talking about the intricacy and the artisan in creating the things that he created. That it was not only a working device, but it was also a spectacle to look at, and that involves mass creativity. The other side, we're talking about how Chopper has created single different points that no one has ever else done to design specifically for purposes and all sorts of purposes. Ultimately, the thing that weighed it out all the way to the end is that I really felt that there wasn't enough. I didn't hear enough attacking to why Chopper's use wasn't creative or not as creative.
They can't attack it. It's too creative.
I even heard admits that it was creative. Um, so I had to go with the Chopper's team.
Woo.
For me, one of the huge deciding points was the Candy Maiden argument. That's how the Chopper team mentioned that, like, do you seriously believe that there aren't other torture devices or even other Iron Maidens in the world? And I had to side with the mentioned argument that it is logical to believe that, but because it has not been seen besides here, that this should be a creative invention. Seeing as that was like the strongest points of the argument, including points like let me see here. It was mentioned from Perosperro's clothing to his ship design, and the Iron Maiden, as mentioned, and the escalator as mentioned. These are all very, very creative things. But I chose Chopper because of all the forms that they mentioned, the different medicines that he's made. Those are all, like, by definition, creativity. Like, an antidote, as they explained it, is like making something new. Especially as to, like, this was a problem that Caesar made, I believe. So I chose that character because of those instances of creativity.
As far as one of the major arguments that I heard was that the people in One Piece were amazed at the creation that was made by Perosperro, and there was never really any refuting of that point. I mean, that was a great point, but I have to agree that there wasn't enough addressing of why Chopper, especially with the devil fruits and how he made them, like the the team for Chopper really did a good job of trying to dismantle every point that Perosperro made. So I went with Team Chopper on this one.
All right. That is the second round. We're now moving on to the third portion, and if the captains
Okay.
meet me in 30 people for the dice roll.
Damn. Well, they got it in.
All right, Chatty. Would you like to go first or second?
We'll go second.
All right. if both of the teams will choose the characters that they will use to answer this final question.
We're gonna go with Moriah.
Okay. Chatty?
I'm gonna go with Boa.
With Boa? You said Boa Hancock?
Yep.
Glad
So-
we didn't choose Magellan.
So it's Moriah versus Boa Hancock?
Yep.
Okay. All right. For today's third round question, here we go. Which character is worse?
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Oh my god.
Jesus. Okay.
Might actually work in our favor.
Oh god.
Damn it.
Well, I almost spit out my juice, man.
They won.
Grimm, you're the worst, man. You're the worst. Man.
Oh my god.
Let's do it. Let's do this.
All right. Steve-O, you'll have 3 minutes from whenever you start.
All right. Well, we talking about who the worst. It don't
Retarded.
Oh boy.
much worse than that boy Moriah, man.
Boy, I'm gonna fucking stay true to this.
I can't believe
Oh.
this. I can't believe this.
I mean, look at it, man. It's out of all the instances of plot armor being used against the villains, man, Moriah probably got the worst because this nigga actually gave Luffy his life back. This nigga had him. This nigga let him go. This nigga said, you know what, man, I'm gonna let you have your shadow back.
God damn it.
I want you to see how bad it is. No, kill this nigga. It don't get much worse than that, bro. And on top of that, this nigga was cock strong back 20 years ago, bro. You see this nigga, he had a chin.
And
20 years ago, bro, this nigga let himself go. This nigga's fat.
and based off currently, I mean, all I've seen is this nigga get folded consistently since he came into the series. All I've been seeing is the man get his ass beat. So I don't even know what y'all want from this nigga that we got right here, bro. Nigga straight ass, bro.
Awful nigga.
Yeah, trash. I saw Jinbei punch that nigga in the chest and send him in the next week. Couldn't use his shit, boy. I saw that nigga get fucking his ass beat for Luffy at least 3 different times during that fight, so I don't even know.
Oh,
This is the kind of
That nigga broke his own island.
Nigga destroyed his own home.
Yeah, destroyed everything just because he got upset. Trash. This shit was stupid as fuck.
Nigga forgot how to use his devil fruit, bro. He took
Yeah.
shadow. Bruh, this nigga is awful. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You gonna have a tough time topping this one. You got the most beautiful woman in the world. Come on, man. You got the most beautiful woman in the world. You go try to top this nigga. Ooh-wee.
Bruh, this nigga came through. Bruh, this nigga came through, right? Thought he was cool and shit. He was like, I'm gonna sit inside this giant and I'm gonna be the strongest in the world. First person he sees, he gets his ass beat by them. So I don't even know what you want from me, bro. I can't even hype this man up right now.
He's not a good guy. He's bad. He's pretty bad all around.
Pretty shitty.
He let himself go. He doesn't value his friends. I mean, who doesn't value them? They're not. Come on.
I mean, he and then like he literally thought if he creates an undead army, he would somehow be the Yonko. And so far, he ain't beat a single person we've seen yet, besides some spotters from Blackbeard's crew. That's it. I ain't see that man fold anybody's legitimate sense.
Speaking of the Yonko, this nigga
Time's
actually
up.
thought he was gonna put up a fight.
Time's up. All right. Teddy.
All right, look.
Pretty bad, man. Pretty bad.
Men in this story are trash. Okay, look at this. They can't take a hit for shit. This bitch couldn't even turn Momonga into stone. I mean, are you serious? He's fucking garbage. This is not fair, man. Are you serious?
Bo is the only warlord that Luffy beat without having to throw a single punch.
Can't beat
Literally, like she
pirate
wants
king.
Luffy so bad. She's like that hoe in high school that wants to fuck you, but you're not gonna let her fuck. You're just gonna utilize her, but never fuck her. That's what Bo is. She's a loser.
She can turn everybody into stone except Fujitora, but
while Moriah was a rival to Kaido, while Moriah was like a rival to Yonko, Bo was a slave for years, and she had to be saved by Fisher Tiger, or she would have spent the rest of her life slaving to some nasty ass, stink ass celestial dragon.
He kicked a puppy.
Yeah, she's a bitch, a stuck up bitch. Yeah.
Man, we lost this.
She has no confirmed W's in the series. Okay, yeah, she beats some Pacifista, but I see Luffy do that straight out the time skip. What's cool about that? We got this because Boa is truly a trash. Boa is a trash. Yeah, Boa is a trash character.
What the hell?
Oh, God.
What are we gonna do? She made Magellan get hard eyes. Oh, that's good. Everything's good. I don't know what to say.
She has ugly sisters.
What am I supposed to say? I don't know.
Her sisters are very ugly.
That bitch, the only person she can't turn to stone is the Pirate King and Fuji. Like, even women. I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do here. With Moriah, are you fucking more? Did they have?
Oh my God.
This is not fair, man.
30 seconds left.
She bends over backwards like an idiot.
She looks ridiculous when she does that. Bending over.
Yeah, she rides a fucking snake. That thing could bite her.
Time's
up.
up.
Lost.
All right.
You lost.
Steve-O, since you lost the dice roll, you'll be leading off the rebuttal portion. Whenever you start. You do have your teammate, your sensei here, who has joined. He's joined late after missing 2 rounds, 2 questions. The score currently is 6-0 in the favor of the Fax Navy. We're now in the rebuttal portion, Yo Sensei, where you and your team will be able to speak for 15 to 30 seconds while they're being replied by the opposing team. Steve, if you lead the way.
What do you mean she can't? Nah, I mean, what do you mean she take all these L's, man? I mean, I seen her not turn Momonga to stone. I seen her not turn a lot of people to stone, bro. Like, what do you mean? She took W's. She took W's out here versus the Pirates. She came through, swamped everybody with her snake. She looking strong out there. I don't know who y'all thought Boa was. I really don't know.
I hate Chetty.
Switch.
Moriah fought Kaido.
Did you not hear Kakashi Hatake, man? Yo, those who don't honor their friends is scum. Moriah ran and he didn't value none of their lives. He is scum, bro. I don't think you could get worse than that.
Switch.
I mean, but to be fair though, Boa treats her subjects like shit, like literally laughing like a fucking Saturday morning cartoon.
Hold on. Only one person on the team can speak at a time. So Spidey, you have to finish that.
I can't.
Oh yeah, like literally, she treats her public like abject garbage. Like she's not supposed to be liked by the audience. She's really just Luffy's tool to use when he sees fit because she wants his dick so bad, but she'll never get it. She's a pathetic character in the story, even more so. Oh, keep going. Oh, you said switch?
Yep.
All right, so Spidey, I'm sorry, bro, but she's the most beautiful woman in the world, confirmed, like by everyone. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. She's one of the most powerful characters we've seen in terms of fighting. She does not take L's compared to our nigga, consistent garbage, take L's nonstop. How you gonna say he fought the Yoko Pirate King? How you gonna say he fought the Yoko and got his ass beat? Is that something to be proud of? He got his ass beat. That's a fact.
Switch.
Boa Hancock is a failure. Oh, go ahead.
Moriah almost killed them.
Is that it?
Hey, Grimm, you have to mute me, bro. I can't breathe.
Is it the switch?
Switch.
Alright, so bruh, Moriah, every time he come into the story, bruh, he gets shat on. He basically a plot device that gets shat on. Nigga, we just seen this nigga in our last couple of chapters. He lost his main man. We ain't seen these niggas in 500 chapters except for a cover story. And as soon as we see this nigga, Absalom is dead. Moriah getting his ass whooped by his own man's fruit. That's an L. That's all he do is take L's. How are you saying that he's not worse than Boa? What are you talking about?
Switch.
At least Moriah has a dynamic character design. Boa just looks like if you take some tits to like a fucking broomstick, it looked like Boa basically. Like, but with Moriah,
I'm deceased.
Switch.
Moriah looks like.
I mean, so you gonna tell me this nigga? You gonna say the nigga look like an onion, and that's supposed to be creative? That's supposed to make him look cool or something? The nigga look like an onion, and you gonna tell me he ain't look trash, bro? This nigga looks like straight garbage, bro. What are you talking about?
Like,
yeah,
he can teleport anywhere.
Moriah has one of the most versatile.
He's got a doppelman.
Well, Boa Hancock, not only is she beautiful, but you also have to keep in mind that everyone loves her despite her being a terrible human being. I mean, so really that's countered with the fact that she's still loved. So what you garner from being a good person, she's still garnering that even being awful. So if that doesn't bolster her as a great person in general, then I just don't know what it is. I mean, I think you're losing this worst person debate, man.
Oh, you think?
What's better, a boa constrictor or a fucking gecko? What would you rather be? I would rather be a boa constrictor. I don't want to be a gecko. What is a gecko gonna benefit from? What are you doing? You can't do nothing as a gecko. What could you do? Stick your tongue out? You can't even blend in this shit. You're not a chameleon. You're not even a useful lizard. You're a gecko. Little kids get you and break you into pieces. That's what you want to do? Seriously? That's literally what you want to do? I'd rather be a boa constrictor, bro. If I was on your team right now, bro, we would definitely lose this argument because I would be speaking praise for boa. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like your opinion, man.
Yes, I can't think of a way to spend the biggest loser in One Piece versus the most beautiful woman in the world. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't think of nothing. Crazy.
But my opinion, these is objective facts.
No.
You telling me that a boa constrictor is not a better animal than a gecko?
A boa constrictor can't climb on the wall.
What do you mean they can scale trees?
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, bro. It can scale trees.
How did this tail
trash? Why are you talking to me like a boa constrictor is not better than gecko more? And look at his design, bro. This man has pieces of hair running along the back of his head. How does he get that edged up? How does he get it edged up, bro? How does his barber even mess with him? His barber even thinks he's the worst person in the world because when he comes, he can't do nothing to the shit. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Moriah has a stronger character than Boa because he understands true laws.
This man is a Blackbeard pirate.
All right, guys. We're now entering the free response portion. You have 5 minutes.
Let me start this by saying, yeah, Moriah is a loser, but in terms of like character, he's a much better written character than Boa ever was. He's very well
Bro,
known.
you just said it for us, fam. The nigga's a loser. Why the fuck do you want to say he's worse?
When we're talking about who's a worse character, that's Boa by a country mile. She's one note, she's flat.
How?
I'm explaining to you how. Boa, Moriah knows true loss. He is the way he is because of what Kaido is doing.
Yes,
it's one of the few instances of character development in One Piece.
Let me go, Cola. Let me get this, man.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Spidey, I don't want to be a prick, but exactly about 2 minutes and 56 seconds ago, you said, I don't get how we're going to win against the biggest loser in One Piece versus the beautiful woman in the world. So are you arguing your own morals to try and win this
10 minutes and 15.
I mean, I gotta admit, you guys didn't
Stop. No, we've warned you guys enough. You've all been muted, and the round will end now. The free response portion was not legible enough. If you guys will give us 2 minutes to deliberate on the final decision.
Oh, you ain't gonna give him a close.
Oh yeah, my bad. Hey, my fault. Hey, y'all come into the for the people. We're gonna roll for the conclusion portion.
Why you didn't mute me, making me feel special?
Shut up. You ain't nothing special.
Choose. Who'll be going first?
They can go first.
All right. Chatty, you'll have 2 minutes to make a conclusion about why Boa is worse.
Check this out. This is a fucking really fucking losing argument because of the characters we chose. But look, check it out. If you go about it by the way the question's asked, okay, she is a much worse person than him. Moriah does care about people that are around him a little bit. She doesn't seem to give two shits. Luffy. And she kicked a fucking puppy, for God's sakes. She kicked pirates in the face alongside Marines. Didn't matter what they were doing. All these fucking pacifists were just saying, Hancock, please like move or whatever, and she kicks him in the fucking face. She's a total fucking terrible bitch. Turns people to stone without any fucking care in the world about it, and then has to be begged to turn them back. Not a very good person at all. Moriah is much better than her. He actually, like they said, he actually gave their shadows back. Unlike something she did where she had to be begged to give their fucking life back from being a statue. So if you're going to go about that argument, she's a much worse person. Is far and above him in fighting, but other than that, of him in... I think you can hear.
Yep, you can hear. You got 50 seconds left.
Well, yeah, and look, you know, but what I was just saying is, keep thinking it through, and yeah, he's as her. He's really not. Goddamn. That was gay.
All right, time's up. Steve-O, we'll have 2 minutes from whenever you start.
Yo, Steve-O, can I start it off for like 30 seconds? Right?
Go ahead.
All right, so I would like to start this off by saying that both of our scalings for who would be the worst person in general is subjective. So, Chatty, would you just scale her to be more subjectively worse than him? That's your own opinion. So, in my own opinion, right, I've seen Moriah ruin thousands of people's lives by taking their shadow, having them live in fear of the fucking sun. Do you know how bad of a person you have to be to make somebody fear the sun? Do you think you Eskimo out here? This One Piece. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. But that nigga Moriah was up here ruining lives. Nigga digging up other people's families and making them into different pieces and shit. What the fuck? He was on some Build-A-Toy, Build-A-Bear type shit. That nigga's a objective bad person.
Demon Build-A-Bear, you heard it. And also, I feel like I must reiterate, Boa being a bad person to other people really has no negative bearing on her whatsoever because they still love her regardless because of her beauty. If that doesn't tell you that she's in a good position in life compared to Moriah, who's a career loser, I just don't know what to tell you, bro. Because every time we see Moriah, like it's been said, he's losing, and he lost in one of the most ridiculous fashions against the MC. He let him live. He gave his shadow back. That's awful. Boy, Hancock has never been shown to be in a position like that, to where she does something that's just totally contrary to what her goal is.
And
I really don't think there's anything else that can be said for Boa being a worse person than Moriah.
And Boa protects the people that that live on her island, based on rules and regulations that are there to protect her island. That's the reason why they're considered one of the strongest people in One Piece. They have their own place and a seat at the table whenever it comes to deliberation because of her position. She cares about the people that are around her, no matter how much they portray her to seem bad, like a bad person. She cares about people, like her sisters. She cares about people. She's a nice person on the inside, but she ain't that bad compared to Moria's garbage ass. Nigga's a total garbage can. Does not care about niggas' graves. Does not care about people's lives. Does not give a fuck about nobody. A walking L that gets his ass beat by consistently everybody that he's ever faced him, and it's just a complete trash of a character. I don't know what you talking about and trying to tell me that Boa Hancock, who takes W's consistently, is a worse character than this trash can of a person. Bro. Come on now.
Where he just look in the mirror and think about, like, I'm ugly, so I gotta be this bad of a person. Like, there's nothing that I can do about this. I'm sorry, bro. Like, that's why he's like this. Come on.
Hancock got options.
Yeah, she has options.
Time's up.
He has to make dead people.
Time's up. All right, guys. That was it for the third round and the third question. If you'll please give us 30 seconds to deliberate. All right, guys.
Okay.
Chatty, if you'll lead the way. I said Chatty.
Okay.
Milo, if you'll lead the way.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that during the debate, I started a GoFundMe for Moriah, so I'm gonna give it to Team Moriah, because damn, I feel bad for him. And what I like best about was that action, time, date, and opponent said you're lying.
You keep cutting out,
in
Milo.
the middle. Oh,
You already made your pick. It's done.
yeah, Team Moriah.
All right. I chose Team Moriah too. Yeah, them niggas gave up early. They fought in hard. This nigga said he gave them a shut up. They was trashing on this nigga. Yeah, I pick Moriah, bro.
I mean, yeah, both sides. Well, one side really went in on their character. The other side, they try to do something. I really like how Chatty did the Big Lebowski reference of, well, that's your opinion, man. That had me dying. But yeah, is two warlords, one warlord got dismissed, as Chatty said. We're gonna go with Moriah.
All right, guys. That ends the third match of round one with a 6-3 victory for the Fax Navy. After a tough match, they were able to bring it out with a 2v2. Stay tuned for in a few days for a special update, and then prepare for the next round next week, starting the 16th. After this match, guys, if everybody in the voice chat will meet me will go to the top text channel to vote for who was the best debater by adding a reaction. If you're on YouTube watching the premiere or in the comment section, please write below who you think was the best debater, and prepare for next week's questions. You'll be seeing the live update stat video where we'll discuss the standings and all the matches that just happened. on that stream and have you vote for the next week's questions on there. Like and subscribe, guys. We just hit 500 subscribers 2 days ago, so we're on the way. Click that subscribe button so we get to 600. Click the bell for the next match, and we'll see y'all boys next time, man. Yo ho ho!